Hello, I am doing an experiment. Yes, it is another putty experiment. I want to see how putty does in a single placer for me. So what I'm going to do is I have a list of the putties that I'm going to use and I'm going to do per section. Let's say I put the Diamond Art Club's putty in my single placer. I will single place in this section until I cannot pick any diamonds up at all. I will record how many sections it gets done. If it gets done 2 sections, or like let's say it doesn't even finish a section, I will guesstimate on about how far. Like let's say it looks about half of a section. I will put that down. I will use a cover minder and put it back. And then I will start fresh on a new section once this one's completely not working, and I will go to the Bliss Wax Co. And this is all not modified putty at all. It's just them in their natural state. And I will go on to the next section using the Bliss Wax Co. And let's say it finishes this section and half of this section, then I'll put it finished 1.5 section, and I'll move on to a blank part to another one. And then that will be like Randa's Crafty Corner, and we'll see how many sections. So yes, I will end up with sections not done by the end of this, but I will have a clear understanding on if this putty or any of these putties work in my dry environment or works for me, or if I find out I like it better. So I'm gonna go through and do that, and I'm excited to say I have butterfly effect wears putty on the way, so I'm going to include this in my experiment if it gets here on time. I have never used it, and it was gifted to me, and I'm so excited. Okay, so then also you will see that I have sections, so that's how many sections, or a full section, or whatever measurements that I'm going to do. But I'll also have this little section for thoughts. I'm just gonna do quick hand thoughts of just like the first 4 front thoughts that I have for it right here, so that I can see you on my final results and go over them with you. I don't think I'm going to be checking in with you every single time I finish a section and give the thoughts like that. I think I would rather get all of my information and then go over that with you and then show you what my canvas looks like afterwards. So I'm going to dive in and I will see you with some results soon. Oh, and I also wanted to let you know I am using the Bees Crafty Corner tiny square sections so that I could get more of an accurate view, because these ones were just too big and I don't know if one dip into the putty will fit for a whole section this big, and this is also more confetti heavy of a canvas, so I just think that these small ones would work best. Plus they're sunflowers and beautiful. Okay, I will be back. Let's go over my results. It went better than I thought, and it also didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. A few more details before I fully dive in to all of my notes. The 2 pens that I used are the Enabler's Outpost pen and one of the DAC pens. I did not put any putty or anything in this single placer or this multi-placer. Let's see if I can get you. I just wanted to show that it's empty. I kept it empty so that I didn't fill it out of muscle memory, and then I just didn't have one at all in this. All right, so the first one that I did was the DAC putty, and I have it labeled as the apple. So it finished with 1 go around, 2.5 sections. So it finished this one, and about half right here. And I do want to say it is not the putty that you can buy from DAC. This is just the putty that came with it. And I believe it did the best out of all 5 putties that I tested. And let's see, my first thoughts are on every single putty that I did. They are easy to overfill, some easier than others to fill, and I'll get into that. For the DAC putty, it was super easy. I just dug it in, twisted a little bit, pulled it out. It was already in the tip. I tried to use my finger to make it level, and I still had a little bit of overflow when I would pick up a diamond and place it. I am a harder presser, so that's just an overall for all of them. It does leave a little bit of residue on the drills, and it did last longer than it did in my multi-placer. I had horrid luck with the DAC putty in my multi-placer. There was a little bit of a pop at first, which I like the pop sound. It didn't last too long, and yeah, like I said, it was just easy to fill. So it lasted through, I don't know, these littler ones. Let's compare it to, you know, the white ones that would come just for like the Amazon cheapies. So that's about the size difference. I was working in smaller sections this time. So 2.5 for DAC, which I'm kind of impressed. I'm excited to go through and fill this where it's at, because I've decided the cover minders are hard to work with when you have more than one at a time, because they slide everywhere. All right, so the next one was Pure Bliss Wax Co. It was the dark chocolate scented one. Let's see, it didn't even finish one full section. It was about 3/4 of a section. So this right here was all that it did. Not very much, but not like the worst I've seen. When I use softer waxes, it doesn't even do a section as well. And let's see, I guess I can leave that open so you guys can get a good look at it. It is harder to fill. So like the DAC putty, I was able to just stab, twist it around, lift it up, and it stayed in there. For the Pure Bliss Wax Co., if I stab into it and lift up, stab into it, even twist and lift up, it does not stay in the tip. I had to stab, twist, and drag and pull apart the putty and separate it off, and then separate from the tip to get it off. So that's why it says harder to fill than DACs. Easy to overfill, but that's all of them. It did not have a pop at all, and it wouldn't hold on to the drills very well, even though like I would go from the tray, like as an example, the tray to the canvas, and a lot of the diamonds would just fall off. So it just didn't have very much tack at all. I think that has to do with it just being a softer putty. I did not test any of my modified putties. I didn't think that would be too fair. I live in a hot, dry Arizona climate, so I want to try to help for those with the same climate as me. It was just frustrating and too soft, and it didn't even finish a section. Now let's go to Randa's Crafty corner. So that means it did 2 1/4 section. So this was the DAC, this was the Pure Bliss Wax Co. So this one and this one. So if we were to take a little thingy, let's borrow this one, it would be 1, 2, and then 1/4 of a section. So let's take the little moon off so you can see the 4th section right here. It might not be exact, but it's just about 1/4 of it fulfilled. So Randa's did really right up there with DAC. And as I was doing the test, I would not stop placing the drills until, if I were going like this, it didn't matter how many times I tried to pick up the diamond, it would not stick to the pen. So that's how far I pushed it, just to make sure I had an accurate every single time for each switch of putties. My first thoughts are, it was easy to fill. It was like the Diamond Art Club one where I literally just punctured, twisted a little bit, lifted up, and it stayed inside the pen really well. There was a light pop, and the pop lasted for a full section, which I think was more than the DAC one. And it lasts, yeah, for like a full section. I do think that the Randa's Crafty Corner putty lasts longer in the multi-placer. Like I feel like I can do a lot more, like the longevity wise, in a multi-placer than a single placer. But I was still pretty surprised that it lasted 2 1/4 sections. And then the scent lost its I mean, you're losing it in such a tiny piece. I just wanted to make a note that the scent didn't last very long at all. And I also like that Randa's Crafty Corner isn't as strongly scented. So that's just the results for that one. And last but not least is the Swartz Design. So the Ruby Cork that I got in a mystery box from Enabler's Outpost. I love this stuff in my multi-placer. It lasts me forever in the multi-placer. So I was really shocked that it did not do well in my single placer. But let's get into the original stuff. So it's kind of hard to fill. The texture is definitely a little different than normal putty. I would try to stab it like this, that, and it doesn't really fully stay in the pen. Oh, this one already had putty. So you go like this, you go like this, and it doesn't come out. But since it's inside a little container, not like in one of these to where I can just stab and drag. So I kind of had to like finesse and pull a little bit out and try to fill it. And eventually it kind of fills like that. And then I can't, it's hard to, I don't want it to be stuck on that, but I would like try to get it in there. It was kind of a pain in the butt. So eventually I'd get a little bit put in there, and then on my table, kind of go like this, scratch my table a little bit, but it's a craft table, so that's fine, until it was even, or just about as even, just like that, to get it full. The smell lasts a lot longer. This one is a stronger smelling one, but surprisingly, it didn't even finish a single section. It only did 3/4 of a section. So it did the same as the Pure Bliss Wax Co, which is why I was so shocked, because in my multi-placer, I do use tweezers to fill it in my multi-placer. I don't just stab it inside here. I was just shocked. Like, it lasts for so long. But yeah, only 3/4. And what else did I put? It is hard to fill. There was no pop at all. It did not finish a section, and then a surprise that it didn't last as long. But I do have to say it works better than the wax. It didn't leave any residue, and like I said, I would just use it as a multi-placing for future reference. So that is all I have for you today. Yes, I did in the intro mention butterfly effect wares. It's not here. I didn't realize, I read the date wrong and I thought it was gonna be coming within a week. No, it's gonna be coming within like 2 weeks from now. And I'm already well done with this experiment. And I'm not gonna wait 2 weeks to put this out. So I might keep doing these little ones at like little experiments as I get new putties and stuff. Like, I had this section off, and this is what I have done so far. So I've been working on the opposite end of this canvas so that I didn't interfere with my little cover minder sections. I just lost a cover minder. Oof, I feel like a complete disaster. So I just wanted to leave this here, let you guys know what worked best so far with multi-placings. And I just like to keep track of my little experiments. I thought you guys would find this to be a little bit interesting. Let me know if you want me to keep doing content like this. I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you in my next one. I do have a series about the benefits of diamond painting, or just like little stories if you want to hear some stories about diamond painting, especially how it could be beneficial. I can keep you anonymous. My email is diamondsandthoughts@gmail.com if you want to share your story. Have a good day. Bye.